Hello everyone, Nadeem here with PC.Solutions.Net. We've been talking, last few videos about security and some of the new products we're getting ready to launch. So the launch is going to happen. It is going to happen later this week. So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions, feel free to send me your feedback. I am getting a lot of feedback, but today I'm going to change gears a little bit, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about hardware. Specifically what Apple announced last week. So there's been quite a bit of I don't want to say uproar, but I've gotten some feedback from customers where they're like, Apple is trying to do what Microsoft tried to do so many times, and it never works out. It never worked, but it's true. Whenever Microsoft has tried to go to the ARM-based chip, the reduced instruction set chips, it has never worked out. A few reasons for that, because number one, people use Windows because of the compatibility of x86 apps out there, because there's so many apps out there. When you move Windows onto an ARM-based chip, a lot of those apps don't work anymore. Microsoft's working very hard. Microsoft's tried to move to the ARM chips so many times. Remember Surface RT, and before that, there's so many products. They try to go to ARM, it just never works. Hopefully the latest Surface will work, but I won't hold my breath. Anyway, so on the other hand, Apple has transitioned successfully, mind you, several times between platforms. They went to they had the old G4s, then they had the PowerPC, then they went to Intel. And every transition they did it successfully. People were screaming, "Oh, they're going to alienate developers. They're going to alienate, blah blah blah." They've done that a few times, and they've done it successfully, so they know what they're doing. So I'm not that worried about how that transition is going to happen. Microsoft, doesn't have a good track record, but Apple does. So not worried too much about that. I think this transition makes sense. Let me explain. So if your Macs are on the ARM-based chips, that means that opens the potential for running all your iOS apps on the Mac side. And let's face it, these apps, some of the things you can only do in these apps, and these apps do them very well. So now if you have the same processor architecture and you can run those same apps on Mac OS, well, that just opens the market wide open. There's options are endless. It's just going to change the marketplace, the dynamics. Just think of it. All of a sudden, you have more apps available for Mac than you have on Windows. Now, that's one thing. The other thing is GPU. So Apple focuses on the overall experience, and a lot of times it's not just about the CPU and how powerful the CPU is, what megahertz you were running at or what gigahertz you're running at. Apple focuses on the overall performance of the thing. They may not go with the fastest processor, but they will make sure they try to get the fastest SSDs or the front end buses. They'll make sure that they have the fastest buses. But the thing is that with the low power use, low heat dissipation, I think it's going to work out good. And then of course, the availability of apps, and then finally the very powerful in-house designed GPU. So most Apple products, Mac specifically, are used by some sort of graphics guys. Whether they're editing graphics or video, people use Macs, and that powerful GPU with a lower heat package, that's going to increase your battery life. And if you can have a longer battery life, have a cooler machine sitting on your lap, I think that's just going to work out. And then, I mean, time will tell, but I think I'm going to get my hands on one. I want to try it out. I'll just see how it behaves and how well it works. And once we start getting those iOS apps on Mac, that is going to be significant. So, having said that, I'm not going to say exactly the day when we're releasing our security app, but we are just putting some finishing touches on the collaborative effort on that. So later on this week, we should have that ready and going. And in the meantime, let me know your thoughts. Do you prefer Intel CPUs? If you do, you think Apple's decision to move to ARM is a bad idea? Tell me why. I'm always open to options, but in my mind, I think it's going to be a good deal. But until tomorrow, everybody, have a good day and be safe out there.